everything with Mary, it's like, okay, we just need to divide it up.
I mean, Mary didn't seem like she was never going to be out.
And hi guys, welcome back, I'm Mirab. And this is the StarSpill USA Today. I've got something very personal and emotional to share, something that throws new light on why the Brown family appears to be falling even more. Apart specifically, it's about Cody and Robin Brown, and why purportedly the rest of the family wants nothing to do with them. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share may reveal so much of the tension we've witnessed since the tragic passing of Garrison Brown. A source contacted me recently, someone heavily involved with planning the Nevada National Guard's memorial for Garrison in late March of 2024. This was no casual observer. This individual was directly involved with the service and had inside information about private aspects of Garrison's cremation, the ceremony itself, and what the family really wanted. Now here's where things begin to fall apart if you're call on the show. Cody stated something about needing to bring Garrison home and bury him in the ground. But according to this source, that comment conflicted with the actual plans and desires of the family. And worse, it horribly offended those organizing the memorial. That one comment escalated emotions strong enough to get someone involved in the service to contact and tell what really happened. And believe me, it's not what the majority of the fans have been told. So why did Cody's mention of burial provoke so much backlash, and what precisely transpired at the memorial that turned all the rest of the Brown family's world upside down per the source? The memorial had been intended as a tribute to Garrison's war efforts in the most respectful manner conceivable. But supposedly Cody insisted on having the event taped, something that no other member of the family was in favor of. That eagerness to make something so holy a filmed experience created deep resentment. It may even be the reason why McElty alluded to last year when she indicated something went down during the funeral that put an irreversible wedge between herself and her father. She mentioned actions and behaviors from Cody and Robin that were so upsetting. The family has since cut ties completely. And from what we're hearing, it's only gotten worse. Since then, McElty has also said that Cody has made no effort to reconcile, no apologies, no healing, no conversations. It's been total silence, and that silence is growing louder by the day. But let's go deeper. Garrison was more than a cherished son and brother. He was a proud Nevada National Guard member. And when military personnel enlist, they're given vital protections, creating a naming power of attorney, and having it so that if something bad happens, there's a plan in place. The source states Garrison did this. It says that means there was a definite map for how his business, including his funeral, would be taken care of. The American military has a mortuary affairs unit that comes in and coordinates all the arrangements, cremation or burial, the 21-gun salute, the honor guard, the service program, and even the coordination of benefits or estate matters. So when Cody allegedly attempted to override or change those plans due to production considerations related to television, you can see why those involved, and the family particularly, were outraged. This wasn't about drama. It was all about respecting a soldier. So if you've been wondering why the Brown family appears so broken, why nobody is talking to Cody or Robin, this could be the emotional breaking point that makes it all clear. Watch this space, because I'll be giving you even more behind the scenes details about what went down at the memorial, how the National Guard managed the service, and what the family has decided on going forward. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want more authentic, respectful updates on sister wives and the stories that are worth telling with love. Now here's where things go, another unexpected turn, and if you thought it couldn't get more intense, trust me, it does, according to the person I talked with who works within the United States Armed Services and had direct hands-on involvement with Garrison's memorial. The family was given full access to everything associated with his estate. That involves the official will, insurance policy details, and everything else required to manage the affairs after his death. This individual was among the group that dealt with those matters. And although all that they've posted is naturally for informational and entertainment purposes only, I have personally confirmed their identification and verified their official affiliation with the service and with this particular memorial ceremony. Here's how it all went down. Garrison's funeral was coordinated by the military's mortuary services, which is based out of Virginia. These teams go to where a service member has died and make the proper military honors, a simple burial, or even a cremation ceremony. Families have the liberty of making the best decision, be it private ceremonies or burial at a military cemetery. In Garrison's instance, it was straightforward. He had opted for cremation, and there was no military burial to be involved in. But here's the thing that stunned even the organizers. At the memorial, Garrison's urn was turned over to Janelle and her sons. From that point on, it was all in their possession. During the ceremony, this wasn't symbolic, it revealed.
Day long, in and out, for all these years, without your support, while you were deciding what you were doing.
Respected and had authority in that moment also. As the service drew near, news started to spread in the family. Cody supposedly was thinking of bringing TLC cameras to the event to record the National Guard ceremony for the show. And that choice didn't make anyone happy. A member of Janelle's family, not one of the kids, but someone close to the family, supposedly intervened and told Cody outright he was not welcome at the ceremony, if that was his intention. More to the point, they made it very clear, no cameras, no TLC. And Robin was not to gounder any circumstances why such a strict boundary, because Garrison had a tense and painful relationship. With Robin, he apparently didn't want her there at the memorial, and the family died respecting not only their own desires, but Garrison's as well. From what, and now we come to the portion that really blew me away and may blow you away too. The person I interviewed claims that Cody and Robin's behavior toward Garrison, specifically how they treated him on the show, had a huge impact on his emotional health. They defined it as bullying, public humiliation, and a constant cycle of rejection. That isolated Garrison left him brokenhearted and profoundly affected due to this. And because Garrison was alienated from Cody as well as Robin, the family specifically did not want them to attend the memorial. They believed that remembering Garrison necessitated their respect for his limits, even in death. However, even with those requests, Cody is reported to have ignored them. As per my source, he still came anyway. Cody did not only show up, but he brought Robin along with him. After being asked point blank not to, and worse, still they brought the TLC crew along with them, even though everybody, including the National Guard, made it explicit that no cameras were allowed. And this is what really shattered the mood of the memorial. The minute Cody and Robin walked into the venue, everything changed. The energy in the room reportedly dropped like the oxygen was sucked out, is how it was described to me. People were shocked, uncomfortable, even angry. What was supposed to be a solemn, sacred space of remembrance suddenly felt like a reality show set. They allegedly walked in like celebrities. Show ponies, my source said, with a sense of superiority and entitlement that rubbed everyone the wrong way. And to make things even worse, Cody and Robin were already mic'd up and set to be filmed. And yes, TLC did actually film parts of the memorial service, much against the wishes of the family and the military. There was something particularly poignant about this because Garrison himself didn't want to continue with the show. He had complained about being presented in an unfavorable light. His final known messages, according to reports, conveyed suffering related to the show's storyline and how it affected his life. And yet, even in his obituary, Cody supposedly attempted to make everything about himself, taking something that was supposed to be attribute to Garrison and turning it into a possible storyline. But there's more later when Cody publicly said he wanted to put Garrison in the ground. My source was furious. They told me point blank, if Cody got possession of Garrison's ashes, she had no legal right to them. Here's why: the person who worked on the military documents disclosed that Cody is not included on Garrison's birth certificate, unlike what was stated on the show, where Janelle insisted Cody was on all the children's birth certificates. This individual, who had access to the documents, stated that was just not the case with Garrison legally. This would mean Cody wouldn't even be entitled to make burial or cremation arrangements. So when Cody professed to wish to bury Garrison, the participants viewed it as subtly insincere, yet another instance of him attempting to manipulate the narrative even though he wasn't involved in Garrison's life at the time of his death. And here's where things become even more outrageous. Yes, Cody has made public statements to being Garrison's father, but in a legal sense, he is not. No paternity test on record, no legal paperwork, and most importantly, he's not listed on Garrison's birth certificate. That means where it came down to legal rights, such as medical choices, funeral plans, and the estate Cody had, none. Nowhere's what I was informed of. Garrison had in fact arranged for a will. Prior to his death, he made considered decisions in advance, something very mature and tragic for one. So young, he named Janelle his power of attorney, designating her as the lawful executive of his estate. Cody left out entirely, according to the source. Cody's name wasn't on the will, wasn't on the insurance policy, and he received nothing after Garrison's passing, nothing. And here's what really stings. There were whispers rumors within the family that Cody and Robin might try to go after Garrison's money. But Garrison, with incredible foresight, took steps to protect his assets from them. He made sure they got absolutely nothing. Now, if you're wondering who was in control after Garrison's death, it was Janelle. Because of the will, she had full legal authority. She was able to manage the sale of his home, close his estate, and oversee the cremation. Everything had already been planned out by Garrison. That meant the family didn't have to scramble during their grief. They just followed his wishes. And here's something critical: after the cremation was done, Garrison's ashes and urn were legally passed on to Janelle and the sons. They were in full possession of them. So when Cody and Robin appeared at the memorial in Nevada, they had no rights to anything, and again they appeared with TLC camera trailing behind. This was not to be shot. The family did not want it shot. The National Guard did not want it shot. Garrison did not want his life used in such a way. So why was Cody there? Why bring an entire crew to a personal, painful occasion? It was all about the show. According to the person I interviewed, they claimed Cody arrived with cameras. Because he had a narrative, he had to shoot that. His concern wasn't closure or mourning, it was camera time. And here's the actual bombshell: the individual informed me that there is no question in their mind that Cody runs the TLC show. They told him he controls the stories, he dictates the cuts, and the reason he's being vetted the way he is today is because he's controlling the history, he's directing the narrative of a distraught, devoted father. But people who know Garrison say that's not at all accurate. Now, here's where things get even worse, as per the insider, Cody wasn't simply there to mourn.
In 2 weeks, if you want to, give any input, have anything to do with it, or whatever.
She was there to create a story. They claim that they needed a redemption story on the show, that he needed to employ Garrison's passing as a means of the heartbroken, ostracized father, and as the victim of a heartless, merciless family. But beyond that, he wanted to tape it. The source says this wasn't about closure, it was about drama. Cody allegedly brought Robin to the memorial intentionally, not because she wanted to be there, because reportedly even Robin had a strained relationship with Garrison, but because Cody wanted to provoke a reaction. He wanted to use the moment to paint the picture of a loving couple being mistreated by the rest of the family. He was positioning the storyline to be, I'm a grieving father, I've just lost my son, and look how heartless this family is. They're being cruel to my wife during my moment of grief. But those who knew Garrison say, this is exactly what he didn't want. Garrison had shut himself away from Cody and Robin. He didn't want them near his life, and especially not near his death. His family was doing their best to respect his wishes, keep the occasion private, dignified, and away from exploitation. But Cody wanted to make it about the show, and the sad truth, the family couldn't do anything to prevent him from doing it. Some would not wear microphones, some would not be filmed. But since some of the family members are contracted with TLC, who knows who might have been coerced. And when Cody arrived with cameras in hand, the mood at the event changed immediately. And then, the Koopy grass. Cody attempted to sit in the front row next to Janelle. He didn't want to be caught sitting next to her, looking like the bereaved father next to the bereaved mother. All for the sake of the camera, but absolutely not. The family said that seat wasn't his Hunter, an Air Force pilot. And one of Garrison's nearest brothers was offered the seat next to Janelle. Cody and Robin were invited to sit toward the back. They weren't going to be sitting in the front row. And as for Mary, she sat across the aisle by request. Gwendolyn required emotional support at the service, and she specially asked Mary to sit with her and her partner, Beatrice. That's why Mary wasn't sitting with the rest of them. She was there for Gwendolyn. Now at the service, something very important took place. There's a very rigid military procedure. If a serviceman dies and is married, his wife gets the American flag and the medals. But if they are not married by default, the honor goes to the mother. And in this situation, it went to Janelle. And here's the part that left everyone shocked. Though Cody wasn't even listed on the birth certificate, he reportedly caused a scene after the service, insisting on the military medals and the American flag that had been reserved for honoring Garrison's service by military tradition. However, that flag and medals properly belonged to Janelle's, since Garrison never married next of kin falls automatically to the mother, barring her from claiming that honor. She didn't. Janelle left that funeral with her sons' medals and the flag, and the boys saw to it that she was not alone. Logan, Hunter, Gabriel, the three brothers were reported to be kind, gracious, and protective, but don't think for a second that they did not have an agenda. They literally muscled Cody out. When they sat in a circle around Janelle, it wasn't Happenstance, it was on purpose. They were covering for her, guarding her from a man who sources say wasn't there to grieve, but to play games, and behind the scenes, the truth was reportedly sinister Cody was not behaving like a bereaved father, according to sources. He was all about angles, about shooting. The source alleges that Cody and Robin were squeezing out tears for the cameras, that when cameras were on, they went into performance mode, that it was all an act. They say he was not there for Garrison. He was there for a plot, and following the service, when it was apparent that he didn't receive what he sought, that's when events went another peculiar way. The remains of Garrison in the end were left with Janelle and the boys. Cody had no rights to it legally. And so when Cody subsequently started talking openly about burying Garrison in Wyoming, the family was bewildered and disturbed because that wasn't the plan. At least, not initially. It was something Cody made up after the memorial. They said another effort to create his grieving father story for the show. One last emotional move, a pilgrimage to return his son home. But the reality, the Cody that viewers have seen on TV crying holding Garrison's photo, looking broken, that man according to the family did not exist in real life. The overall sense in the family was that Cody and Robin didn't belong, not because they were not loved in the first place, but because Garrison did not want them around, because his death shouldn't have been a camera-ready cliffhanger. And that is the toughest reality of all they wanted to respect. Garrison's wishes not make his memorial into a plot that was the feeling in the family. Most of the siblings were resentful that they hadn't seen their dad in years, resentful that Cody and Robin didn't come to grieve Cody, and Robin came to take advantage from all accounts. Cody came to assume the part of the bereaved father, Robin came to perform the part of the beaten, misunderstood stepmother, but it was never about Garrison. It was always about the cameras. They reported that when Cody and Robin came into the room, it was like they anticipated that the whole family would bow down to them, like they were royalty, the king and queen. But the family, they weren't having it. It was clear to everyone in that room. Cody and they didn't belong. It was so awful that even Cody's own family members, his own relatives, wouldn't talk to him. The disrespect, the estrangement, the harm he'd done was too deep. What Cody cared about most wasn't Garrison. It was the show, the narrative, the image, and now the family is concerned. Concerned about how this hallowed, hurtful moment will be manipulated for TV ratings. Cody even boasted that he was going to put Garrison in the ground, but Garrison had made his wishes very clear. He wanted Toby cremated. So when Cody mentioned burying him, the family was shocked, hurt, appalled, because Cody had no right, and if he did take any action like that, those close to the situation believe it was done through manipulation or coercion. Garrison was a proud soldier. He'd earned a dignified, respectful, and honorable send-off not to be made upon. In a family tragedy, not to be used by a father who hadn't been there for him and the mortuary. People, they were devastated too. These are professionals who pride themselves on respecting military families and showing our veterans their respect and appreciation they've earned. But what they witnessed from Cody and Robin, they said it was completely disrespectful. They told Robin she wasn't even supposed to show up. She was expressly told not to. Garrison didn't want her there. He didn't want Cody there either, but they showed up anyway. They arrived in full knowledge that they weren't wanted. Cody brought Robin deliberately, knowing the hurt it would inflict, knowing the lines he was crossing. And yet they showed up for the cameras for themselves. Meanwhile, others saw something else unexpected. Mary, long depicted as icy or aloof on the program, was defined as the nicest person. In the room, warm and kind, a striking contrast to the act Cody and Robin were putting on in Garrison's siblings. They were gracious, heartbroken, but unyielding, willing to defend their mother, defend Garrison's wishes and keep the cameras and the mayhem far away from what was Toby, a final moment of peace. This entire scenario says something heartbreaking. A total lack of regard for Garrison, not only in his death, but in his life. Cody didn't even let Garrison into his house, and now even in death he won't. Respect. His son's dying wishes, Garrison had been clear. He didn't want Cody or Robin there. He didn't want it taped. He wanted peace, but Cody came anyway with cameras on his. Mind, not family. And the reality, it appears as though most of the family does not care to be a part of the show anymore. They're tired, they're traumatized, they're finished playing along as a part of a made-for-TV saga. But Cody, he just keeps going because it's never about family. It's about control. It's about the narrative. People close to the situation, think Cody is going to spin this into another tale. That the family is abusive to Robin. That they're abusing him, that he's the victim. But they tell us that's not the case. The actual reason Cody wasn't welcome there is due to the harm he's caused and his refusal to cease using his children and their beraiment to bankroll a reality show he weeps on camera, but not for his children. He appears when lights and cameras are present, but not when they needed a father the most. He is isolated from his children, from reality, and from his own decisions. So here's what the family would like to convey. Don't fall for it. Don't swallow the carefully manufactured version that perhaps they'll provide on television. Their truth, and they're crying out now. Only because Garrison owes it to us to be honored he was a soldier. A decent one, a son, a brother, a buddy, and a man who gave himself to his country. And he didn't deserve this charade. So they're revealing themselves. Thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. If this message spoke to you, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you don't miss what's next. Thank you so much for watching, and most importantly, let's remember Garrison for who he was.